What's up, dudes? So we're out here we're in Blue Ridge Wildlife Management area. This area is called Nimblewell. We're about 4 miles as the crow flies from Emmacola Falls, and we're coming out to visit Bearden Falls. It has been raining most of the night and it's kind of still sprinkling on us now. And so I've got another new friend with me today, Angel. This is a co-worker. I've worked with him for about 2 years now. He's from Chicago, never did a lot of hiking up in that area, so he came down here and asked me to show him some trails and waterfalls. So this is probably just one of many adventures that you'll see him on. We've got a couple planned already, but I'm not going to tell you about them because they'll make good videos. And so hopefully the waterfall is flowing better today than the last time I was out here. It's been about 2 years since I was here last, and the creeks are flowing higher right now, but they flashed out pretty quick already. I'll give y'all a look at this little creek down here. This is where most people cross this first bigger crossing. It's not extremely up, but it's up enough that you're gonna get wet. And you can see where people have stacked stones across here to try to be sort of like a little natural bridge. But you can also look down here and see where the river's kind of a little bit skinnier, so it might be a little easier to cross here. In any case, it's still deeper because of the rain right now, but you just got to send it. So he's just going to grab a picture of that. But I was just telling him, this is one of the waterfall small ledges where I've kind of cut my teeth on photography. It was one of the first places that I took long exposure. And I actually did it with a cell phone and pro mode. But it's a pretty deep hole there. During the summer, you could absolutely swim in it. It's a little deeper now than what it usually is because of the rain, but so there's a nice little, probably about a 10-foot or so slide down there with a nice little pool. I really should hike my fishing pole in here one day. Hey, check this out right here. You want to know more mushrooms. So you see these yellow mushrooms along these trees right here? Yeah. So that's called witch's butter. And witch's butter has no medicinal value, but it does have a taste value. They got a real earthy undertone, so you could pick a few of those, and as long as you boil them down just a little bit, then you can mix them in with your stir fry when you're cooking trout, and it gives it an earthy undertone. So
most of the time I go through life absorbing like useless information. Why the hell don't we learn these things in school?
Because school's federal and it's ruled by the government, and they teach you what the government wants you to know. What would do the government good to have a bunch of people who could live off their own land and do their own things without having the help from the government? All right, guys, so we made it up to the base of Bearden Falls. It's up through there in the rhododendron somewhere. We're gonna go up there in a minute, but right now it started raining on us, so I set up this lean-to little shelter here just to keep our gear dry while we hike up. And I haven't showed you guys this yet, but this is the Pathfinder school emergency tarp. So you can actually, it's got reflectix on the inside. You can actually bundle up in this and it will retain your body heat. It's also good for like retaining fire heat up and reflecting it back to you. This is the first time I've used it, and I've had it for like 2 months. So I don't know that I will do a full review on it this trip because it's not really being used in the proper way. It needs to be staked out, and I need to really put it into a test. But for now, it's going to serve its purpose to keep my gear dry. So we're going to head up here to the top of the falls, and I'll get back with you guys. All right, guys, so we made it up here up the goat path, and it's raining pretty good now. which is unfortunate because I was wanting to get the DSLR out and I was wanting to get my drone out. Oh well, but we made it, so that's the plus. And she's flowing really good today. I've not ever seen this much flow in it. If it keeps raining like this, I imagine that whole lip up there would probably just be one giant pour over. You might not even be able to stand in this area if the water was that much more. The last time I was out here, there was a tree across about midways up that I climbed up to, and I also climbed up on this rock, but everything's wet and super slippery today, so I'm not even gonna give it a go. I was hoping, which looking up now, I wouldn't even be able to fly my drone up that high anyways. So, but it was definitely worth the hike in, you think?
I believe so, it's worth it.
I forgot again to set my phone up to see how far of a hike it was, so once again on the way back out, I'll start my phone to know exactly. I think it's like 1.6 miles, so not bad. And we are currently at (2,408 feet elevation, so this is probably one of the lower elevation waterfalls. Yeah. All right, so we just left the waterfall. We stopped and hung out under the tarp for a little bit, drank some coffee, ate a little snack. So I figured on the way back, I would just show everyone all the creek crossings that you have to cross. I think there was like 3 or 4. And so I didn't really capture that on the way in, so I'll show you guys on the way out. So this is the very first one leaving the waterfall that you're gonna cross going back towards the parking area. So on the way in, this would actually be the last one that you cross before you start making the climb up the Bearden. This crossing here usually isn't like this, but with the rain over the last few days, it's up significantly. So you can see there's a trail and there's a trail. It doesn't really matter which one. I came in this way earlier and it was a pain in the ass, so we're gonna try to go this way this time. So there really ain't much to this crossing unless you cross down there where I crossed earlier, and then I end up having to walk in the water for a little ways and then try to climb up over there. But so that's crossing number 1 on the way back. All right, so here's the second creek crossing on the way back to the car. So it would be the second to last on the way in. It's just a very small little thing. You can pretty much boulder hop over it. There's not really a whole lot going on. So yeah, anyway, there's that. Real easy, real small. Some of the bigger crossings are on further down. I think the next one we do is a pretty good size. And then the very last one that we'll do, which will be the very first one on the way in, is pretty good size too. So we made it to another crossing here. This one's a little bit wider than some of the other ones we were doing earlier. There's 2 different ways, well, 2 or 3 different ways. You can go down there where Lag got us at now, and it's a little bit skinnier, but the water's moving a little faster. Or you can just go across right here. This is where I went across earlier. I walked across it. Angel kind of boulder hopped. The water's fucking freezing, so try to go across as fast as you can, and your feet start going numb. But then you don't want to move too fast because you lose your balance and then you'll fall. Woo, my feet. So it may not be the smartest decision to hike a trail where you need to cross water multiple times when it's still, you know, basically winter time. It's another crossing. I already forgot what number this one is. This is what?
I think it's the 4th one.
4. Yeah, I think this is 4. We walked through a bunch of water back there, that was like in the middle of the trail that I don't really consider a crossing. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like maybe a spring or something, because it was running. So we're not going to count that as a crossing, but this is definitely another crossing. So we'll call this one number 4. And if I'm not mistaken, now we're getting pretty close back. We've been 3/4 of a mile already, so got to be maybe not all the way there, but pretty close.
Yeah, I think it's
Got it. Go on. Good girl. Watch out for that rock. It's very slippery. All right, there's that. Did you make it, Lags? Come on, girl. And so Angel and I were just talking about the clarity of the water since we've walked in earlier. I was explaining to him how these creeks and small rivers can flash through real quick during a rain event. And as you can see from here, when we came through earlier, all this was like a chocolate milk color, and now it's already flashed through, and you can see the bottom again. And you can see over here where there was a tree that fell across, and all this piles and debris and stuff got pushed up, creating a big strainer. But so that was crossing number 4. I think we've got one more. I know we got one more big one to cross.
No, I think that was...
No, we got one more.
You got one?
The one where we crossed, where we came off the road.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest one.
Yeah, I forgot.
I think
about
it was
that one.
probably the biggest one of the day. So yeah, we got one more to cross, I think. So yeah. All right, so we made it to another creek crossing, and we determined that we thought we had one more, but we actually have at least 2 more, because we got this one and then the big one in the front, and I think maybe there's one in the middle. I don't know. It's really no point in guessing anymore, because we really don't know what we're talking about at this point. So when we get to the next one, we'll let you know. I'm gonna come look in the water. All right, so we made it back to the biggest creek crossing, which is this one. And at the beginning of the video, y'all seen us cross a little further down, but the water's clear now, so I just wanted to come over here and kind of glance at some rocks in the water. Not really seeing much of anything, so we're gonna send it on across and watch him fall in the process. Yeah, the way they got that built up right there is pretty deep, huh?
My whole hand could have submerged, and my socks could have submerged too.
Look how red my toes are. Woo! Ah, that water's freezing. But gotta deal with it, I reckon. And so we've made it back out to the main little road here. And from the waterfall to here has been 1 mile. So I would be safe to guess that probably from here to the car is another half mile, maybe maybe a quarter to a half mile. When we get back to the car, we're gonna leave here, but there's a spot on the way out that I'm gonna stop and show Angel. It's an old cemetery. Not a lot of people know about it. Well, I take that back. A lot of people know about it, but a lot of people have never been able to find it. And I don't tell, a magician never reveals his secrets. Like, I don't reveal where my spots are. I ain't telling nobody about that shit, so they can come in here and ruin it. So I'm not gonna have the camera on when we go there, because what kind of fun would that be to reveal all my spots? So when we get to the graveyard, I'll get back with you guys. All right, so we just bombed up this hill real fast to the cemetery, because I gotta be somewhere pretty quick. But this is a pretty old site, and not, I mean, it's overgrown hardcore right now. They haven't done anything with it. Looks like in quite a while. But like this one right here, first one I looked at, born in 1795, died in 1837. That's an old grave. That's, for whatever reason, that's the only one that's got a headstone. All the other ones don't even have, I mean, they have headstones, but they don't have like marker plaques.
Well, let's see, what if it's like buried?
Born December 11th, 1876, died January 1887. And some of these over here are like, I mean, all the lichen moss has taken over. All these little pine branches and stuff. And there's a bunch of people buried out here. I mean, there's got to be, just by looking around and guessing, at least 100 graves out here. And most of all of them are just little headstones like this that, I mean, don't really have anything on them. There's a couple that says when they were born and when they died, and then there's a couple bigger ones I seen over there where you were at a while ago.
I thought this was a family grave because two of the graves I seen over there, they actually had a...
I don't think it's a family grave because that's Cronin, but that over there is Lussick.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was originally, but then when I came over here, I was like, oh no.
And so then like, I don't...
A-E-P-T-H.
So like,
Jeppeth.
it's got writing on it, but I mean, it's pretty illegible. It's been here for so long. And I really don't know what the name of this cemetery is. I read it in a hiking blog quite a long time back. This is actually my second time ever coming here. But it doesn't have like a sign name, and you wouldn't even know this was here if you just didn't know about it. So yeah, that's Cronan too, 25. I mean, that's a baby. That was only a year old, 1925 to 1925. But I don't think, I mean, you can kind of see where it looks like people's been up here on like a four-wheeler maybe. So maybe some of the locals have been up here. But I don't even see where a fresh grave would be. I don't think there's been a fresh grave here for a long time. But so Jesse Chester was a private in the Confederate States Army in 1826, or he's born in 1826 and died in 1906, placed by the granddaughter in 1990. So that's kind of cool. He was a Confederate soldier. That's a grizzle. So the grizzles are actually, I know, are in this area. There used to be a store right down here off of Nimblewell Church Road called Grizzle Store, and then the road there is called Jess Grizzle Road. So the Grizzles might actually be something along the lines of a family cemetery. And then I can only imagine or guess that this was a Confederate soldier, since there is a Confederate flag there.
Maybe this is like
I'd say there's probably quite a few Confederate soldiers in here.
maybe like during the war and everything like that?
Yeah. But I mean, there's no telling, there might even be people buried over here, because look at these headstones that are like, I mean, unless you were just looking, you wouldn't see that right off. And then you got all these that's up in the bushes over here. Like this guy right here, I mean, he's literally straight up in the bushes.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I would be surprised if there's more down that way.
it's kind of sad to see that it's grown up like this, but it's a cool piece of history to just be able to like find something like this and come and still be able to check it out. I know there's some groups that go around and they clean these places up. They'll like come in and cut all the branches and stuff down, and they make this special cleaning solution that you can spray on these gravestones or these headstones, and then wash them off with water, and it will clean them up so that you can read what they say again. But I mean, that would take a considerable amount of time to clean this place. It'd probably take a couple weeks to get it cleaned up really nice. But so I told you guys that we were gonna come visit this place, and we did, and so there's that. And now we're gonna head back down and jump in the car, and we'll bring him back to his car real quick, and then I gotta make the run up over the mountain back to Jasper real quick, pick up my kids, and do some other shit today, like adult shit. Can't be out doing whatever I want all the time, right?
Fortunately.
But anyways, thanks for coming along on the adventure today, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one.